Morning, everyone. This is Director Parsons, President of Third Mutual. Welcome to the regular open meeting of the Third Laguna Hills Mutual Board of Directors, a California nonprofit mutual benefit corporation. This is Tuesday, June 16th, 2020 at 9:30 a.m. Part of this meeting is being done virtually. The officers of the board are here in the boardroom. So want to let you know on that. So with this, I'll call the meeting to order. We do have a quorum, and I would ask you at this time, if you would, please silence your cell phones so we don't have any distractions. At this time, I'd like to call upon Director Karimi to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. If we'd stand, please. Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, please stand up and face the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, the Republic for which it stands, one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. I'd like to know if there's any media present. Are they at a distance virtually? Does anybody know? Okay, we don't know, but if they are, we welcome them. Approval of the agenda. Do I hear a motion to approve the agenda for today?
I make a motion to approve the agenda for
Second.
I'll second that.
Okay. Based on unanimous consent, if there are no objections, we'll consider that complete. Okay, approval of the minutes of May 19, 2020. Do I hear a motion to accept the minutes?
I move to accept the minutes.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, any discussion? Okay, we'll approve this by unanimous consent unless there is an objection. Okay, report of the chair. Just a few comments I want to make. Sorry if it comes in muffled a little bit. I'm using my mask here, but just a few comments to bring forward. There is important information that will be presented by our committee chairpersons and staff today. I will defer to them for their reports because some of them are going to be a little bit in depth. Our streetlight project is in full swing, and I'm excited about the project and that our residents will be with adequate lighting in the future. More to come on that as we go throughout the meeting. As many of you know, there's a survey that we have initiated, and it's conducted to find out responses from Third Mutual owners. The board is in the process of determining owner priorities and important issues facing Third Mutual. Your responses are needed and greatly appreciated. More to follow next month on this topic. Something else that's been happening is there are a lot of rumors of recent. They're circulating about the upgrading and maintenance of GRF facilities. It is unclear at this time the direction future actions will be taken. The GRF board is trying to determine the best course of action, but more analysis is required to come to a workable conclusion. Your board is trying to help in this process however we can. More information should be available in the near future. This board would urge you to become knowledgeable in this area and let your board members know your opinions. And lastly, I'd like to talk a little bit about the pandemic. As you know, it's not over yet. So we would ask everybody to be very careful, be cautious, and let's not let COVID-19 gain a foothold in our village. So please be careful with that and take precautions. Okay, let's go to the open forum. Do we have anybody who would like to speak on the open forum? Okay, thank you very much. Okay, we'll go on to item 9, CEO and COO report. And I believe we have a presentation. If you'd introduce that to us, please.
Well, I have a couple of items, and then I'll turn it over to Siobhan. She has a couple items. The first couple things I wanted to mention, and you just started off with, was talking about the Siemens project and the street lighting. Wanted to indicate that all 770 lights have been replaced and changed out. So we're completed that part of the process. Now we're in what we call the punch list, where we're going back and making sure every light's working appropriately, and where we have outages. We have 13 poles that we identified that have electrical problems, not lights itself, but electrical problems. And Siemens is in contact with SCE, because that's still an SCE issue. So hopefully, keep our fingers crossed that SCE will be work with us to get those done immediately. And once we have those 13 poles wired up, then it will be appropriate that everything's working great.
I understand that they've already started. I got a report from one person who had reported a pole, and now it's working.
Yeah.
So hopefully SCE is out there doing something.
That's what we hope to. And Siemens is coordinating that for us, so that's really good. On Friday, I wanted to mention, talking about reopening and COVID-19, on Friday, as part of our reopening plan, and something that in concert with speaking to the presidents and some of the executives on the boards, one of the things that we wanted to do, besides sending out our email of our reopening plan, was to have a panel of medical experts, and we had that on Friday on Channel 6. It'll be aired in the future number of times, but we had a really solid panel of 3 doctors from various organizations here in Orange County that gave a lot of good insight with regards to how to stay safe, what's appropriate protocols with regards to activities, including wearing your mask like all of you are doing, and how that would work going forward with our reopening plan and kind of coordinating those. We've gotten some really good responses from our residents. They were able to send in questions, so we had those questions preset for to ask our panel, and the panel went through a number of the questions and were able to really identify specifics on issues like testing and how that worked, and the issues of the importance of masks, and the issue of the importance of being able to get out and socialize at the same time, but the need for the distancing requirements. So I was very pleased with that panel, and again, we're continuing to work on our reopening plan. A couple of things that just recently have changed. Wanted to mention that is that starting yesterday, or today actually, reservations started yesterday. With regards to our tennis operation, we're now operating with doubles. So that's in play as of today. So that was a big one, because we have a lot of residents that play doubles and not singles, so they were looking for the opportunity. We also expanded our time frame out to 4 o'clock, some 7 o'clock to 4 o'clock with regards to our tennis activity, and 7 o'clock to 4 o'clock with regards to pickleball and paddle tennis. We are evaluating pickleball and paddle tennis still with regards to doubles play. We haven't instituted that yet, but we will be looking at based on information that's coming out of the state and Orange County Health, as well as the United States Association that gives us reliable information with regards to how they see the operation of that. If not tennis and golf, probably the other one that had a lot of dialogue is pools. Pools have now been designated by the state to reopen with regards to community pools. So we are in the process of creating the appropriate protocol for how we want to keep the environment safe. What pools will open? We are not going to open every pool. We're going to have some designated pools. We're going to have designated process where we go through and you do the same thing. You do a reservation process. You'll have a lane designated for you. So if you're going in there to exercise, you exercise in the lane, you swim in the lane, whatever the activity you want to do in the water, you'll be able to do it in your designated lane area, and you'll have distancing from other individuals. The anticipation is that we'll have that protocol ready to go, up and going, so that we can take reservation a week in advance. So we're shooting for the 17th, start reservations, and the 24th of this month to open the pools up. We're working in concert with our pool management. We obviously manage it oversight from our recreation department, but we contract out for lifeguards and that type of thing. So we're making sure that, one, they are ready to go, and then secondly, that the facilities have been cleaned, and the protocol that we're going to use to continue to clean those facilities as people use them.
Jeff, I had a question about
Sure.
that when reservations, when The residents make the reservation, are they going to give a timeline, like for an hour, for 2 hours, or 4 hours, or do you know that?
Exactly, that's the way it's going to work. It's going to be a specific time frame. I believe it's an hour or maybe 45 minutes. I'll have to check with that on the preciseness.
Okay.
But yeah, it'll be based on usage like that. And we know that we have, with the lanes designated and the pools that were designated, and I'll have more information on TB6 coming up on Friday, that we believe we can cover giving people 2 reservations a week, that we can get everybody in there that's on our current list that we have. We have about 350 to 375 people that are active swimmers and active participants in our exercise programs and stuff like that. So we want to make sure that everybody gets the opportunity to get in the water, that they want to do that.
Thank you.
Is there also a plan on how to handle young people swimming periods?
Yeah, we're working on that and to address how we're going to designate certain areas if we have that activity, especially the rest of the summer. The last thing I wanted to mention before turning over to see if Siobhan had any other comments was we've been working, a couple of your members, Robert in particular, has been in contact, and you have talked about it before, about the upcoming PUC rate regulations. They're going to have the testimony where they're going to do it virtual. They normally have an operation, so they're looking at June 30th and July 1st as the dates from that they will be taking, having a webcast and having phone numbers available, and I have that information. We'll be getting out to the community, let people know. I did make contact with Chris down at the city, Laguna Woods, to see if they were going to be putting in a specific comments, and he says that they are looking at putting something together, so that we're going to work hand in hand, make sure that our response to the PUC is kind of generated towards this kind of the importance of our community and what that means for a community that has especially income restrictions in a lot of cases. So we want to make sure that the PUC understands that from the village point of view. I'm not aware of any PUC action relative to a rate where they designate one community and kind of parcel them out just because of our information, but there may be at least an opportunity here to look at that as a potential to see if they would look at senior communities differently than they would any others because of our income restrictions. So we'll be continually putting that together. I know Robert probably has some input on the conference that he went to, and so I'll work with him to continue to make sure that we're represented in that. And then that's all I had, and I'll turn it over to Siobhan.
Honorable President, members of the board, just for your information, the public forum information for the Edison rate case is on the screen before you. There are 2 dates, Tuesday, June 30th and Wednesday, July 1st. Residents can listen either by telephone number or via the webcast using the internet, and that information is, again, on the screen before you. The only other quick announcement I have is that the Recreation Department is pleased to announce the July 4th Golf Cart Parade. This is our patriotic activity to celebrate Independence Day. We're encouraging residents to participate, and they can either participate in the parade or decorate their homes and their lawns and cheer for the participants as they go by. In terms of details, registration is not required. There will be 2 parade routes available to ensure the entire community is covered. The parades will start at 9:30 at clubhouses 1 and 5. The Recreation Department will lead the parade with a decorated golf cart. They will be playing music, making announcements, and so forth. And then our security department will bring up the lead, making sure the whole activity is safe and secure. If further information is required, you can contact Recreation at 949-597-4273 or recreation@vmsinc.org. So again, encourage everyone to participate and also to share your feedback on the proposed Edison rate increase as shown on the screen. And now it is my pleasure to introduce Laura Young, who is the Director of Communications with the Orange County Mosquito and Vector Control District. Heather is, Laura is also joined by Heather Hyland, the PIO of the district, and they're going to talk about how to prevent mosquito bites and empower residents to take control of mosquitoes. So without further ado, here is Laura Young from the Vector Control District.
Hi, good morning, everyone. I want to thank you for giving me the opportunity to talk to you guys about mosquitoes in your community. And I have just a quick PowerPoint, so hopefully this goes all smoothly. So I'm the Director of Communications here, and I just want to give you an update on what's going on with mosquitoes in relation to the pandemic, as well as what we're seeing. So if you haven't heard, and you can go to the next slide. If you haven't heard of us, we are the Orange County Mosquito and Vector Control District. We're a special district established in 1947 predominantly for mosquito control, but we added in rats, red imported fire ants, and flies. Our summer activities are generally focused on mosquitoes because that is the most imminent and prominent threat during the summer. So if you can go to the next slide. There's a lot of areas that mosquitoes can breed in, and not all of these pertain to your community, but I just wanted you to be aware that we do treat marshes and wetlands, some city structures, which we call BMPs. They call them best management practices. We call them big mosquito problems when they're not maintained. And then as well as nurseries, pools and spas that are not maintained, and some city infrastructures that you'll notice around your city that may be aging and collecting water, such as drains, gutters. Probably the biggest source that we see in communities are those backyard sources. And I'm going to talk about how those are going to affect communities individually, as well as residents and as a whole as well. So next slide. So what we do, and this has changed, typically we would be out in your community doing outreach, knocking on doors, talking to residents, but because of COVID, we've had to curtail some of that outreach. So we've been doing a lot of media as well as outreach via web presentations. I know I was on the Laguna Woods TV last week doing an interview. So those are some of the areas that we're continuing to do that, and then provide education through cities and through your BMS as well as your management company. So our main goal is to let people know what can breed mosquitoes so they can eliminate those sources. In addition to that, we do surveillance in every city within the county to identify if there's any mosquito-borne disease, and our most prevalent disease here is West Nile virus. We get it every year. Unfortunately, we have people that contract the virus every year, some more seriously than others. And then we have our control measures, which are removing sources, putting in some consistent and permanent treatment options, which are mosquito fish, and then conducting chemical control, which is either treating the water source if we cannot remove it, and or doing adult mosquito control when there's disease present. The next slide. What I want you to be aware of, and as you're going out and educating your neighbors and your community as well, is there's two really there's 27 different mosquitoes in Orange County. There are two that we're really focused on. Excuse me. And the first one is what we call the QX mosquito, or the southern house mosquito. We've had this mosquito here for years. This is the one that predominantly has West Nile virus and can pass that virus along to people. So this mosquito prefers to feed on birds and not people. We're sort of the incidental host, or there's not a bird around, so then they bite. They are dusk and dawn biters. They don't typically bite during the daytime. They rest during the daytime. It's too hot for them. And they live outdoors. So you very rarely will see them indoors, although they may be if there's a high population. The Aedes mosquito, and I don't know how many of you have been bitten in the last year or two, but this is the one that's really impacting Laguna Woods, and not just Laguna Woods, but cities throughout the county and throughout Southern California. This mosquito was introduced into Orange County in 2015 through transportation and nursery exports. It's a backyard breeder, and what that means is it loves those small pots and saucers. It can complete its whole life cycle on a balcony. It doesn't need a lot of space. And it prefers to bite people, and it bites during the day, and it's a really aggressive biter. And what that means is it'll bite you more than once within a few minutes or an hour. So we call it a snacker. In that sense, this is what's really impacting the communities because they're feeling the bites, and the bites are causing a more severe reaction. So you have people that are having welts as well as secondary infections. They're itching the bites, and then that's creating additional health issues. These mosquitoes, the Aedes mosquitoes, can live both indoors and outdoors, so they can complete their whole life inside your house. For example, if you have a lucky bamboo, they can bite you, get the blood they need, lay eggs in the lucky bamboo, and continue their life cycle. So if you are being bit indoors, then that means you're either breeding them indoors or they're somewhere in close proximity to your doorway, and that's where they're breeding. The next slide. So this is our southern house mosquito. You can go ahead to the next slide. And our concern with this mosquito is that it is the West Nile virus carrier. It doesn't take that much water to breathe, but it spends most of its life on water. So if there's no water, then it not complete its life cycle, and you don't have a lot of adults. Next slide. So last year we had a relatively mild year. We only had 168 mosquito samples test positive and 5 human cases. We're anticipating a more significant West Nile virus year. Currently, our mosquito populations are double what we've seen on a 5-year average. So we're anticipating it to be a very active West Nile virus year as well as a very active mosquito year. Next slide. The Aedes mosquitoes, like I mentioned, they're very aggressive day biters. There's good news and bad news with them. The good news is currently they do not transmit disease in Orange County. The bad news is they do have the capability. So they have the capability of transmitting Zika, dengue, chikungunya, yellow fever, and dog heartworm, and slightly West Nile virus, although they're not really great transmitters of that. With COVID, one of the benefits is people are traveling less, so we are anticipating less travel-related disease coming into the county. Next slide. So with the Aedes mosquito, one of their survival techniques is they do not need water to start their life cycle. They can lay their eggs in dry conditions. So if you have a flower pot that used to have water, they can lay their eggs and then it'll be viable, and that's what makes them very challenging. And their eggs can survive without water for several years. The next slide. So you can see how it's transcribed from 2016, where it only covered 5 square miles of these Aedes infestation. In 2020, we anticipate it'll cover almost 140 square miles. And you can see we're bookended on both ends. We anticipate by the next few years, the whole county will be infested with these mosquitoes. The next slide. So this is a challenge with these mosquitoes. And I'm going to break some bad news here as well. This is a new normal for us as we talk about the new normal with COVID and the pandemic and how we interact with people. How we view mosquitoes in Southern California and Orange County is going to be different. We are going to have these aggressive day-biting mosquitoes in our community, and the only way to reduce the impacts they have on the community is to have a community effort in eliminating these water sources. You can see they don't need a lot of water. Bromeliads, lucky bamboos. A lot of these sources, the flower pots, the lucky bamboos, the bromeliads, the fountains, those are actually in your community, and when our inspectors were out, they took those pictures. Not the tire. You didn't have that in your community. So although you may not have large properties individually usually there's a lot of potted plants, and I'm sure if you go through your walks, you'll see that almost every resident has potted plants. And most residents that we inspect do have some type of breeding occurring on their property. Next slide. So what we really need your help with, because we cannot get out to every one of your properties or your residents' properties. Laguna Woods and Village in itself, and each HOA within that is like a small community. So we need to educate those residents, but also have them be aware that this is an ongoing process, that they need to not be growing plants in water-filled buckets. They need to be removing any water sources. Saucers under potted plants need to be emptied, cleaned regularly. Plants such as bromeliads or water-holding plants should either be maintained and so they're not holding water, and or eliminated so they don't potentially have a source. And then scrubbing any containers that have eggs on them and storing them so they're not there for any rainfall or any sprinkle or runoff that can create a breeding problem. Next slide. There's also a maintenance aspect of this, and I know we've talked to Siobhan, and we were working before the whole world changed on some plans on how to do outreach. But really, from our end, we make sure we maintain those waterways, channels, gutters, and make sure that those are properly treated if they're holding water and cannot be emptied. And the biggest call we get from your area is Aliso Creek, and we treat that on a regular basis. So the appearance of Aliso Creek will not change. You'll still have cattails, you'll have some algae, but it won't be breeding mosquitoes because it's treated. So when you are experiencing mosquitoes in that area, it's typically a residence around that may have a breeding source. Next slide. So really, what I'm here today is to partly educate you, but also ask you for your help in being community leaders and talking to your neighbors and community, making sure that we're stressing that mosquito control is a community effort and a shared responsibility. Well, we are doing our part, and we're happy to come out and educate residents. We have one inspector that covers not only just Laguna Woods, but also parts of Lake Forest and Aliso Viejo. So unfortunately, he cannot go to every residence. And that's where this messaging and really making sure people are held accountable for their actions in their property is essential, as well as one of the biggest comments is people do not want to use repellent. They don't want to put DEET or picaridin on them, and that's really the only way to prevent bites. That's a proven scientific way. I always say if something works for you, that's great, keep using it, but what we recommend is using an EPA approved or tested repellent to help prevent those bites, or wearing long sleeves when you're going out for your walks and doing things outside. And next slide. So what can you convey to your residents and as leaders in your community? And it's really these key things: tip, toss, and take action is what our campaign is this year that we're working on. And that's dumping and draining or tipping and tossing any containers that can hold water every week, not just once a summer, but going out and doing that inspection every week. Tossing out anything that's unneeded. So if you have clutter in your patio area or you're storing pots and containers, to put them somewhere where water cannot reach them. Making sure your windows and your doors have screens and they're in good repair. And so that'll prevent mosquitoes from coming into your home. I know when I'm out in Laguna Woods, a lot of people keep their front door open and their windows to get that cross breeze, which is really nice. But it also will have mosquitoes coming into your home. Reducing outdoor activity during those peak hours, which is dusk and dawn. I always say that, and then I think, how practical is that? I go home and I go for a walk after work, so that's right about dusk. But really wearing the repellent and wearing long sleeves to prevent those biting actions. And then next slide. And then with that, we're happy to send out brochures, do any kind of outreach. If you want to do a community forum via a WebEx, we can do that as well and have the inspector out there. or if you have any other ideas, we're open and willing to work with anybody to help spread our message. My email's there, and so is my phone number. You can also contact Heather Highland, who's our public information officer. But like I said, we have a really high mosquito count this year, so we really are looking for residents to be active and take a role in helping us eliminate these sources. And if I have time, I'm happy to take any questions.
Anyone have any questions for Laura?
Yes.
Okay.
Steve?
Yes, Doug,
I
go
heard
ahead.
Alicia Creek this is Doug, I'm sorry. I heard Alicia Creek mentioned and everything else. We've got this West Creek area over in Gate 11. Is that treated either by you or through the association here?
For mosquitoes, it is treated by us. I only mentioned Aliso Creek because that's one of the bigger ones. So our inspector actually treats a lot of the large areas, some of the actual fountains on the golf courses, as well as some of those waterways that are smaller in the community. If you ever think it's not being treated, we can definitely confirm that for you via our database or have the inspectors just go out and double check. What I always stress is, though, even though it's being treated, it doesn't look any different, and that's what people expect, that once we treat it, we're going to clean it out, and it's going to be a flowing waterway. And what we're doing is just applying some bacteria products so the mosquitoes can't survive if they're breeding in the area, but the algae, the cattails, any debris that's in there is still going to be maintained. We don't clean them out. That would be a management company's question.
I'd just appreciate it if you somewhere or another can confirm back that area is treated, and it's West Creek in Gate 11.
Sure, I will do that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Any other questions for Laura? Kush?
Hi, this was a very interesting, and thank you for providing this presentation to us. I have two questions. One is for the young lady, Ms. Young, and then one for the staff. Yesterday on the news, I heard that there is a new kind of mosquito on the East Coast. Is there any threat that would meander down to the west for us?
So I don't know specifically which mosquito you're referring to. I know that they have just federal approval to utilize genetically modified mosquitoes to combat as a mosquito control method. And what they do is they genetically modify male mosquitoes, release them so male mosquitoes don't bite people. And in that essence, those male mosquitoes, once they mate with the female mosquitoes, their eggs are no longer viable. How California works is, even if it's federally approved as a treatment method, it still has to go through the California EPA. So it has not been approved here as a treatment method for us. There are other ones that we were considering. However, at this time, we're not utilizing those alternate treatment methods. We're going with the traditional methods of pesticide product or bacterial products to control for larval control.
Thank you. And for the staff, the question is that this is being aired today for us and whoever's viewing. Will this information be available on the website or somewhere else for the others who missed it? Okay, thank you.
Any other questions for Laura? Okay, Laura, thank you very much. We appreciate the handouts also.
There's one more question.
Steve, I had a question. It's Rob Muchnick.
Oh, okay. Go ahead, Robert.
Laura, I was looking at page 5 of your handout, and on page 5 you described the two different types of mosquitoes. And then when I turn over to page 7, I'm just wondering if I'm misunderstanding. You call it the southern house mosquito, but yet the description of the mosquito is the one that's outdoors constantly.
Yeah, so it's called the southern, the name is the southern house mosquito. It typically doesn't go inside. I didn't name them. I don't know why they named them that.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, any other last minute questions? Okay, thanks again, Laura. Appreciate the presentation.
Thank you so much for your time and have a great day.
You too. Okay, Siobhan, do you have anything else and anything to report? Okay, we'll move on to item 10, consent calendar. I hear a motion to accept the consent calendar.
I so move. We accept the consent calendar.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, that's
I'll
Robert.
second.
Okay. So unless there's any objections, we'll consider this unanimous consent. Any objections? Okay, we'll move on to unfinished business, number 11, which we don't have anything. New business, landscape committee recommendation, item 12.
Okay, the landscape committee recommendation has a recommendation to deny off-schedule tree trimming request at 3337 1G Punta Alta, the Brown residence, for 2 silk oak trees. I'd like to make a motion to follow staff's recommendation to deny this off-schedule tree trimming.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, which one? Okay, Kush is second. Okay, any discussion? Okay, hearing none, unless there's any objection, we'll consider this under unanimous consent. Any objection? Okay, thank you very much. On to item 13, committee reports. Report of Finance Committee and Director Pearlstone.
Thank you, Mr. President. It's on page 1 of 8, item 13 in the agenda packet, if you guys have it. And this month, the report I'll be sharing is through April 30th, which had the first real full month of activity after things had kind of been pulled back due to COVID. And rather than go line by line, because we're still digesting data and trying to make sure we're presenting information that'll be useful to residents, I'll summarize each slide so you know we cover it. And any questions you have, feel free to send them in via email or contact us directly. But the bottom line to start our discussion is that things are going as planned. We're being defensive, we're being prudent, we're trying to make sure that we're keeping essential services moving forward and providing things for residents, and everything else is being scaled back to a level that keeps a acceptable service level while maintaining as strong a revenue position as possible. So with that said, if we put slide 1 up, which it appears it is, you'll see that we have a significant net revenue. I'm going right to the bottom line. A significant net revenue over expense of $2.6 million, which is very much in line with our expectations. It's even a little ahead of our expectations. And again, most of that improvement is due to our scale back operations and projects. On the next slide, you'll see that we're also seeing additional surplus each month while we reposition and make sure that we've got a strategic plan that we feel comfortable with for the rest of this year or until operations resume as normal. So through April 30th, we had a $696,000 operating surplus. And understand that's daily operations, that's not reserve funds. So that's what that represents. Moving on to slide 3. Here you start to see how things are comparing to budget. And again, it's not like we're trying to put every nickel away in the bank, but we are trying to be ready for rainy days that may be coming ahead. And you can see going to the bottom line of that analysis that our actual revenues are basically $2.6 million, as I pointed out. Our budget was spread out over the course of the year. We were anticipating a loss of $519,000. So as of the end of April 30th, we have a net surplus of $3.1 million. Again, we expect some, most, or all of that to be used by the end of the year, but better to have it put aside right now to make sure that we're reacting to things we need to react to as operations open back up and projects may or may not pick back up towards the end of the year as COVID hopefully gets more under control and we can do more actual services. Moving on to slide 4, you'll see the breakdown of the excess funds we've accrued, and number 1 is outside services. That should make sense. Many of the projects that we've slowed down or put on hold, and some are required to be stopped, were for outside services. So we have a significant amount of funds put aside. They still need to be done at some point, and that's why those funds exist. Compensation, we've pulled back a little on staffing and hours, and you can see there's a surplus there. And then there's other items, most notably, I guess I'll point out, and I was going to make a general comment towards the end, but I'll hit it now since you're looking at it, unrealized gain loss on our investments, a significant unrealized gain. Once again, really kudos to our staff and the committees that review these things. We shifted our investments to a very safe portfolio of fixed income mutual funds, and it's been a significant success in a very, very, very volatile market. We have not seen any downside at all, and instead have a nice gain through April. And if anything, we're becoming even more defensive there as well. But we're actively managing the safety of it, and I think that's what residents want to know. And then materials and supplies, again, since we're not doing as much, we have some excess for materials and supplies. And then you can see the bottom two were a little below, and that's some comments that I'll put out there for future discussion that we're looking at intensively, and that is managing our insurance cost. It's still a problem from last year with the fires. Our annual renewal date is in October, and we're looking at it currently, and we'll continue to look at it to make sure we keep that cost as low as possible. But right now, we are over budget on insurance, and it's 100% due to the fact that we have got an industry issue of a lot of additional charges for property protection due to fires. So we're studying it. We're talking to insurance carriers. Our brokers are actively working on it way ahead of time this year, so we make sure we get it right. And then finally, there was a small loss on sale or trade when we transferred the funds over to the new investment company, more of a book entry than anything. That was not a real dollar loss. So moving to slide 5, just going to hit quick highlights here because you see this every month and it looks the same. It looks what we expected, and that is our revenues that are not our assessments are mostly broken down between the unrealized gain on our current investment portfolio and investment income. I'll give you a second to study the other ways we generate revenue at Third Mutual. They're very much in line with our expectations. Some are a little lower due to lower activities, but nothing worthy of breaking down at this time. So take a second and look those over. And then at your discretion, Grant, you can move to slide 6. And you will see that our expenses are mostly broken down as expected between employee compensation and outside services with other various expenses. Once again, we've seen no surprises. We're not looking at anything that we need to report and say this was not anticipated. The only red flag on this particular pie chart is insurance at this point, with a smaller red flag under legal fees. And we would certainly like our community to know we're aggressively looking at that as well to keep our legal costs at a minimum for what's important and intelligent for our community. And were it not for COVID-19 and the Ayers Hotel situation, our legal fees would be even more under control than we've been able to bring them in line. And we're making good progress, and we'll have more to report on you on that as the year progresses. But insurance and legal are the only variables right now that we're really tackling because they don't become less due to COVID, and we've got to make sure we manage that. Slide 7, kind of the summary, bottom line on everything. And it really shows that we're where we want to be given the circumstances. We've got increases in all of our reserve type funds. If you go to the current balances of April 30th, you'll see that our total as of April 30th for all our various reserve type funds is $30,776,000. And if you pop over to the next slide, I don't mean to rush through the slide, it shows it graphically, and I think it's much more informative. You'll see that over a 5-year average, we're well above, continuing to accumulate funds with the full knowledge that those funds are very likely to be spent. We are not just putting funds aside again for a rainy day. We are understanding that we are deferring certain expenses that we can afford to defer, but they're coming, and we want the money to be there when those days come. So it's laid out exactly as our board designed it, and we try to take community input in mind for that. I would finalize things by just sharing what I consider to be a huge positive, which is the dynamic activity of our department, our committee heads. Committee heads. We're reviewing areas in landscape where it's not always about saving money. There's some possibilities of increasing funds dedicated towards landscape And Lynn is doing a tremendous job of breaking that down and figuring out what the most cost-effective way of doing that, obviously with staff's guidance. Robert is doing a significant amount of work, studying maintenance and construction, working with, staff to make sure that we've got that strategy mapped out for what we're pulling back on, how we'll phase it back in. I mentioned I'm working extensively on insurance, investments, leases. We're talking about that. That's also our Architectural Standards Committee trying to manage our lease situation. It's just, I think you'd be happy, and you should come and see the various committees meet and hear the things that are being talked about and reviewed, because we're being proactive. We're trying to make sure that we come out of this stronger than we went in, and we continue to work on big projects and problems that our community needs. The lighting project already got mentioned. It's up, it's running. So far, it seems to be going successfully. We're managing and watching it closely. Finally, on slide 9, you'll see the resale report. We did get information on May, and I'll just go ahead and share because it's important that the community know how things are progressing. Things were very steady up through April, which is somewhat impressive given that we were pretty much closed down for April. But May was a significant reduction in resales. For the entire community, it was 35 resales versus 78 last year. Absolutely expected. Everything we're seeing is that the real estate market is still strong, and we're hoping not to see a significant reduction in home sales. But that's a budget issue that we're watching closely because it does impact our budget and our assessment calculations. And hopefully, and I know that our staff is doing what they can to phase this back open and let people see homes and, do the purchase process. And we'll just watch it closely month to month, but May did see a reduction. Still some activity, and we hope to see it increasing now that things are starting to open up again. And that concludes the financial report. I say every month, and I'll say it again, we try to break down everything as thoroughly as we can during the finance meetings. So feel free to attend those. They're open. Send your questions ahead of time if you like, and we'll break down anything you want broken down. And that comes up the first Tuesday of the month, so that'll be in early July. I don't have the date in front of me. Maybe I do, actually. Hold on a second. See if I do. July 7th is the next meeting, 1:30 p.m. And that concludes my report.
Okay. Just to tag onto that, our leasing percentage right now stands at 27%. So we don't know exactly what drove it down from 28%, but it's nice to know that it's hovering down around that area. Okay, on to the Architectural Controls and Standards Committee. We've been inactive since COVID-19 started, and we've been basically hiding out in some cases, or just inactive, let's put it that way. We do have an upcoming meeting on June 19th at 9:30 a.m. It's a virtual meeting. We do have 2 items on the agenda to be taken care of at that time. So if you'd like to be part of that, stand by and you'll get a phone number. You can call in, be part of that meeting. Okay, on to the report of Communications Committee. Director McCary.
That committee has been dormant for a while. We do have a scheduled meeting for July 8th, which will be a virtual meeting, and we do have some items for discussion.
Okay, and this meeting is just the 3rd Mutual Communications Committee.
Yes.
Okay. On to Maintenance Construction, Director Muchnick.
Okay, thank you, Director Foster. Your M&C committee has been busy since we reported to you last month. If you remember, last month we reported that we had taken a very close look at the project log, and we had made some decisions of where we thought we might be able to save money during the fiscal year. In part because of the COVID-19, it became necessary to furlough a number of EMS employees who complete projects as that third authorizes. 9 different projects were identified and prioritized, whereby we either canceled the project for the year or reduced the size and extent of the project. In each instance, every one of these projects will be back in the budget for the next fiscal year. If you want to see a list of the specific projects and their associated dollar amounts, I refer to you to Treasurer John Pearlstone's report to the membership presented as part of last month's board minutes. As addressed earlier, the promised lighting project has been completed Residents have been commenting on how much of an improvement the new LED streetlights are. Once the project, now that the project is finished, VMS will begin monitoring the annual energy savings that we anticipate. If you see a street light not working, I ask that you write down the pole number. Each of the poles has a third Laguna pole number. Report that pole number to the resident services so that we can make sure that it is attended to. We've had a number of poles that have had problems that can only be fixed by Southern California Edison, so your help in identifying the poles is extremely important. All right, we've had a few inquiries from the Garden Villa residents about permission to install their own washer dryers in their units. At this time, we must let you know that we are unable to give that permission. Right now, we do not know the full impact of COVID-19 on our resources, and we are trying to deal with the potential of an extremely large increase in our insurance premium for next year. We are focused on trying to minimize the costs that are passed on to members in terms of increased HOA fees. Hence, we are looking for ways to save our limited resources. Next fiscal year, we intend to take a closer look at the washer-dryer issues for the Garden Villas. This is far more a complex issue than a simple yes or no. While we appreciate the concerns of the Garden Villa residents, at this time there are other issues that is imperative that we address now that we are potentially more costly for third homeowners. All right. Jeff Parker mentioned that I had attended a San Diego Energy District Symposium conference the other week that explored groundbreaking capacities for community energy. The focus of the symposium was to present information about what they refer to as community choice aggregation, which are programs that allow local organizations to procure power from an alternative supplier while still receiving transmission and distribution from their existing utility. Based on what I learned, Third Mutual will be following up on the possibilities of some electrical projects that may be beneficial for our members. If you have any issues or concerns that would be appropriate for the M&C committee, please do not hesitate to contact me. As with all the members of the board, I'm here to serve you and your interests. Our next meeting of the M&C is scheduled for July 6th at 1:30 p.m., location to be announced. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions for Director Muchnick? Okay, on to the report of the Parking and Golf Cart Task Force. As you know, it's been inactive task force since January the 6th. However, we do not want to stop meeting. So as soon as we open up and where we can meet together and go over maps and plans, we won't have a meeting, but once we can, then we will call you and establish a golf cart task force meeting. So stand by for news on that. Okay, on to Garden Villa Rec Room Subcommittee, Director Jarrett.
We haven't had a meeting since February, and actually because of the pandemic, and we're going to schedule a meeting probably around October timeframe. There's going to be a staffing change, and we'll get all that figured out. So we'll announce that date when it comes closer. Thank you.
Okay, something that was mentioned by Kurt a few months ago was that they were doing some new irrigation water line work. Do you have any comments on that, how that's progressing?
You're going to landscaping already.
Yes. Oh, I'm sorry. That's coming up here. Okay.
That's okay.
You want to go ahead and go into landscape and then possibly
Yeah, I'll
cover
go
that?
into landscape. We've had a really high growth period. This, after the rains, we had the first quarter. It really made everything grow, and the growth is unbelievable. The slopes are absolutely beautiful. When you drive around the village, there might be a few bare spots they're working on, but I'm telling you, all the work they've been on the slopes, so many flowers are in bloom. It's just gorgeous if you really, really look as you're driving through. And we have another slope contracting process now, and a lot of that has to do with the clearing for fires. The fire risk is really a big situation. So anyway, slopes is always going to be a big job. Excuse me, I want to remind people before I forget that on the website, there's quite a few things to do with landscaping. First of all, we have the landscaping manual out there. It's wonderful if you want to look up things for the landscape manual. Another thing is the map where they're working on projects in the village where the crews are working. So it's really important if you look up on the maps now and you can get a schedule of when they're coming to your area. And the other thing is you have on the website, you have the tree request forms, and you can just get on there, print out a form and fill it out and send it in. So we've got more and more on the website to do with landscaping. I want to talk to you about the tree report. It's unbelievable. As of April the 30th, the staff removed 25 trees and trimmed 230 trees. The contractors removed 20 trees and trimmed 681 trees. The aeration project is still in process. Excuse me. We're still looking at modernization of the grounds and reducing the turf. We need to get to modernization. You go out to some of these communities and they don't approve any grass anymore. They try to get rid of it, and we need to do that too. So right now we're looking over there in Gate 9 area. We have two spots we're looking at. One we may do this year. It's a small little circle up in, I think it's 343. And on the corner of Bahia Blanca in 343, there's a big plot. We're looking at the possibility of changing that out from grass to drought-tolerant plants next year. We're looking at that. I want to say that Kurt's really been working closely with us. And John Pearlstone's done a wonderful job with the budget. So working on that for next year. And we're looking at possibly having bagging mowers. And that's a budget item. Anyway, I think that's about all I want to say, but you did ask me a question.
About the water lines being replaced?
Yeah, I'm not savvy on that project, so you may want to say something about it.
Okay.
Okay. Anyway, the next meeting is going to be July the 2nd.
Okay. What Kurt had mentioned to me was that there are sections of water lines for irrigation that are leaking, split, whatever. And they're having to replace some of them. And over in our area, we've seen it on some of the slopes where they've had to replace some because the water just was flowing down the street. So just wanted to let people know that that's happening. And we're trying to conserve water as much as possible, but there are some new lines that have to be replaced. Okay.
Thank you.
Anything else?
No, thanks.
Okay. Report of Water Subcommittee. Director Karimi.
Mr. President, there's nothing to report, and the next meeting is TBA. As soon as we get things together, we'll set up a meeting. Thank you.
Okay. Report of Resident Policy and Compliance Committee. Director Jarrett.
Okay, we've got some issues we're working on right now. Nothing's come up for approval yet, but we're pretty close to getting the non-smoking building resolution ready to go for approval. We're still working on the lease in the waiting list rules because we want to tighten that up a little bit. We're going to look at that as President Parsons just mentioned, that the lease cap for the moment is down to 27, but it comes and goes. So we're still looking at that. The other thing we're looking at is reviewing and discussing the guarantors and their qualifications. We may make some changes in that particular area, and we're looking at formalizing the barbecue rules, especially in the multi-story buildings. And we've had a couple of fires since April, so we're working on that. And some of the future stuff, one of the future items is we're looking at is purchasing by proxy. So that's my report on that, and the next meeting is going to be on June the 20th. Yeah, June the 20th at 9:30 a.m.
Okay.
Thank you.
Uh-huh. Okay, Energy Research Group, Director Muchnick.
We don't have anything to report at this time.
Okay, I understand the next meeting is 1 July at 1:30 p.m. Does that match?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, on to GRF highlights. Community Activities Committee, Director McCary.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. President. That committee did meet yesterday. It was a virtual meeting. Member comments, members were complaining about the,
That was not yesterday. What you talk about is the media communication.
oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Oh.
the CAC.
Oh, I'm sorry, the CAC. I had a conflict with that meeting, so I asked Director Bada to attend.
I think Director Bada is going to report on this.
Yes.
Yes, that's correct. Thank you. We had a pretty involved meeting of the CAC committee, which was on June 11th. The GRF rec policy was discussed, and we came to the conclusion that we were going to reduce the fee of clubs that were 25 members or less to $25 per year. The staff is reviewing court reservation computer system, which will be discussed in our next meeting. And if it works out, we will implement that. Many outdoor activities were proposed by staff and were approved. Example, Tai Chi, yoga, meditation, and similar stuff. Golf cart parade for July 4th was approved. This is kind of difficult to talk through. So that was discussed earlier through the CEO and COO report. And I strongly suggest that everybody participate, decorate the golf carts, and have a fun time. One of the things that was recommended by staff was to have a picnic with Restaurant 19 on the golf course. That sounds very interesting, and looking forward to hearing more about it. And July 4th, 2021 celebrations are being discussed, and look forward to hearing more information through the committee that may be coming soon. Our next meeting is July the 9th. We're still working on the location. Most likely it may be a virtual meeting. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. On to the Equestrian Center Ad Hoc Committee, Director Bada.
Okay, the Equestrian Committee, Ad Hoc Committee met on May 26th. A lot of discussion because one of the main things that was discussed is that we have a few stalls of horses that are empty, and we are trying to fill them up, which would increase the revenue for that account center. Also, people are allowed to donate to the equestrian center to assist the horses maintenance, and you could donate through the villagecommunityfund.org, or to adopt a horse, to feed them, or for any particular reason. Flyers and e-blasts, limited TV, what is that? Oh, we're trying to do some marketing to improve the equestrian center, and there will be flyers, e-blasts, and some TV spots are still available to talk about it. And that's about it that I have for the Equestrian Center.
Okay. Thank you very much. On to the GRF Finance Committee, Director Pearlstone.
Thank you. JR Finance Committee did not meet since our prior board meeting, but does meet next week, June 24th at 1:30, presumably a virtual meeting that is open to the public.
Okay, thank you. GRF Landscape Committee, Director Jarrett.
There are still no meetings scheduled at this time.
Okay. GRF Maintenance Construction Committee, Director Bada.
Okay. This meeting was held on Wednesday, June 10th, and it was a really, not a very long meeting, but we had a lot of discussion. We had a lot of info being presented by the department, and I have a few slideshows that I want to present that would show all the completed projects that we've had. That would also enable residents to appreciate the money that they provide for the HOA being used in the right manner. Grant, can you start the slideshow? The first one, please. Okay, the first slideshow is about the EV charging station at the maintenance center. Next slide, please. If you see on the left-hand side, those green spots, that's where the charging stations were installed. These are for the GRF cars. Next slide, please. You can see that those green markings, that shows where this, we can move faster if you like. This is what is showing the electrical junction panel box of the electrical work. Next slide, please. This looks like a little more of the same thing. This was during the construction of the EV charging stations. Details of the charging junction boxes. More. Keep going. This is patching the trench after the thing was installed. This is the bollard installation of the safety bollards, okay. This is how it would look as it's getting completed. The striping and the level 2 charging bollards being displayed over here. This looks like almost complete and getting activated through the system. And there you go. I think the first car is getting charged over there.
Question on that. That was behind the community center, correct? The last one?
No, these are in the service
Center area?
maintenance,
Oh, okay.
maintenance yard.
Okay.
And as you see, this was totally budgeted at $75,000, and contract amount was $53,000. Total cost was $49,000 and change. So we did this job below budget. So which was kudos to the M&C department. Next.
Looks like you ran out of slides.
Pardon? No, it's there, but Grant is working as fast as his computer can. So,
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so. The next one, I think, is about maintenance center and RV lot gate installation, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, that's correct. Next slide, please. This gate was necessary to be installed. Lot B needed a gate, so next slide. So these are all the different slides. Keep moving, Grant. Yeah, this was the construction period and more of that. Yeah, you see this is now, if you see in the center, there's a little place where you can flash your card that will allow you to enter. Next one. And it's the new automated gate, as it says on top. Keep going. This is also close to the maintenance service center. This is pre-construction period. Same pre-construction and getting ready. More of that. This is if you notice in the center of the picture, there is a little bit of construction patch going on. The asphalt paving happened after the installation and laying the cables down. Okay. Keep moving. More of the same, getting part of the bollards and the gate and the track and everything being set up. So new automated gates are now done, and this is one more thing that was completed as part of the projects that were set up. Next slide. And we also notice here that it was set up, the total budget amount was 184,000, total cost was 165,720. So we completed this in February this year, under budget again. Next slide. So the last section of slides that I'm presenting today is about the LED walkway lighting at our clubhouses, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And it's good to see that our old pagoda-style lights, which were failing, breaking, toppled over, run over, are now going to look really pretty when the slideshow comes up. And here we go. Next, please. So these are the old style lights, the pagoda lights, which have done well for the last probably 50, 60 years. But now it's time to change and upgrade. So let's keep moving. This is a part of the Clubhouse 1. Still, we're showing you all the before pictures first. Here you see on the left side those bollard lights, those LED ones, which look really smart. And now they're spaced properly, so you will have continuous lighting as you walk. Keep going. This was also one of those old lights. This was, I think, near Clubhouse 3, the tall one. So we had tall, we had short, all kinds of weird combinations. Keep going. Oh, that's that same location where this bollard light was installed. Keep going. At Clubhouse 4 too, we had this old pagoda light. Now see how nice it looks as you step down. So there was some issues at Clubhouse 5. I think they are doing clubhouse by clubhouse, the lights. Keep going. This is the new light at Clubhouse 5. So they also encountered a lot of what do you call them? The concrete junction. They're creating new concrete bases to put the lights in. Next slide. And this is how the new concrete base would look after the concrete was poured, with the lights out. The wires pulled up. Next. So this is the finished one picture at Clubhouse 1. Next one. So there was some encounter with problems at the different junction boxes. Keep going. Keep going. They were encountering problems at some hidden junction boxes which were covered with landscape over the period of time.
Assume
And
that's water in there?
some had water in it too. So they cleaned all that out because that was shorting the stream of electricity. Yeah. So they've gone through all these irrigation issues. Next slide, please. Same thing, keep going. So now this shows how the new lights look. This is an evening shot, which makes it really pretty. Now, I think once our clubhouses open up, which we depend on Jeff to tell us when that's happening, we'll be able to go and appreciate the new lights. I suppose even if you drive past it, I don't know if you're allowed to get into the parking lots, but this is the new light system installed for walkway. Keep moving. Wow, looks terrific. Keep going. These are all the after the install light pictures. So again, we had a total budget of $200,000, and it was again completed below below budget amount. So kudos to our MNC department. And the construction duration, it says, was 19 working days. That was even terrific. I suppose they were able to manage that mainly because of all the closures we've had for COVID-19. And this is to display to our residents that the money that they give us for their HOA dues being put to good use over here. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, on to the PAC Renovation Ad Hoc Committee. Director Pearlstone.
Thank you very much. We did hold a meeting, and at that meeting, there's a lot to discuss about the PAC. The committee did vote to recommend approval for the first phase of the Performing Arts Center remodeling, really just bringing it up to speed on certain systems and areas that were outside of code or not functional. It's going to bear watching. It went to the GRF board, and at this time, everyone involved, and I think the community really, if you have questions or concerns about the Performing Arts Center, best not to listen to the first thing you hear. You'll want to get involved and hear updates because it's an active situation. And so we're watching it at Third Mutual, making sure we know what's expected and what's going on. But bottom line takeaway that I can share is that everybody's in favor of moving forward. This has been upwards of 10 years in planning and design and redesign. So this first phase is important, and no one involved was against seeing something move forward. It's just a matter of getting the contract lined up, getting the scope nailed down to an extent that we are sure it's going to stay as close as possible to the financial parameters that are being established. And then the final thing I'll share on this that I think is incredibly important, because I've seen information that's just not accurate, is that because of the pandemic, this isn't a good idea to move forward on the Performing Arts Center because it's not a good use of our funds. That's not how the funds work in the village, whether you're at a mutual or GRF. A good portion of these funds have been reserved for quite some time. I've studied it carefully. I see minimal impact on any assessment that we're facing this year or next year to move forward on the phase that's being discussed. I want to finalize that, and I'll have a future update for our residents on that, but that's what I'm seeing currently. And it is I believe, the consensus among everybody who's reviewed this that this first phase should move forward. It's just a matter of getting everything buttoned up and move forward correctly and carefully, which a project of this size absolutely should be. But it's fiscally responsible, and any comment you're hearing to the opposite, you might dig deeper, show up at a meeting, and find out why the decisions are being made the way they're being made. There's no further meeting that I'm aware of on this particular ad hoc committee, but you'll definitely be hearing updates on the Performing Arts Center. It's a critical element of our community, and this project should be getting started in 2020, so we'll have a further update on it next month, either under the finance banner or whatever.
Okay, and if you can continue with Clubhouse 1.
Yeah, there was also a meeting on Clubhouse 1, and it should make sense to anybody who's following these things, or even if you're not, just being updated now, that what happens at the Performing Arts Center, what happens with our overall budget, clearly, what happens with other projects going on in our community clearly have an impact on something as important as Clubhouse 1. So there was an initial discussion of various options that could be pursued for Clubhouse 1, and it was left that we are going to do a tour of Clubhouse 1, really try to understand the scope, understand each project in great detail, the budgeted cost associated with it. We have no drawings, so costs could vary widely. And, and also get a better understanding of the functionality and the needs that Clubhouse 1 should be providing for our community, and if it's not already doing that. Anyone who's interested in understanding this project, we're at the ground floor. This is a great time to get involved and stay tuned to what's going on, but do take some time before you get involved to study what happened at Clubhouse 2, because there was a significant remodel done there with a lot of projections and ideas that didn't even come close to happening the way they were projected. So our input from Third Mutual is to be very cautious, very conservative, and make sure every financial aspect of this is buttoned down thoroughly before supporting any recommendation for Clubhouse 1, and that's exactly what we're doing. There will be follow-up meetings on this committee, I'm sure, but they haven't been scheduled yet.
Thank you very much. On to Media and Communications, Director McCary.
Okay, that committee did meet yesterday afternoon. It was a virtual meeting. It started with some member comments and complaints about internet downtime, and also about the internet outage from yesterday. So Chuck Holland did give us a report. He said that the internet outage that yesterday took place during a planned maintenance on the emergency battery backup system at the plant. A software update unexpectedly restarted the UPS, causing the outage. This effectively shut down all television and internet in the community. Unfortunately, West Coast internet equipment is in the building that lost power, cutting off internet access to the village. So Chuck Holland also reported that he is working with a third-party consulting firm to access all broadband operations. And when that's done, that report will be presented to GRF and to the Communication Committee with some recommendation for future action for cable and internet service. There was also, Eileen reported that new resident orientation and docent tours are still on hold. Finally, the new Breeze is out, and it's getting lots of raves and reviews. It's a really, really nice article in this Breeze about the koi pond over at Clubhouse 1, and really educational in terms of not putting coins in the koi pond and not feeding the koi. So it's very educational. There's also a schedule of the reopening schedule inside the Breeze with the clubhouses, not the clubhouses, swimming, golfing, tennis, a lot of really, really good information in the breeze. She also reported that there was less issues with distribution this time with the breeze than before. So great job. Kudos to the communication staff. Two directors from United Board are distributing masks, reusable masks at the library. So if anyone that needs a mask can go by the library, and those two, you will be getting a mask. I said it was a virtual meeting. The next meeting is scheduled for July 20th at 1:30 p.m., location to be announced.
Okay, thank you very much. And that's a real beautiful publication, The Breeze. And my wife keeps it handy all the time, so as reference material. Okay, on to Mobility and Vehicles Committee, Director Frankel.
The Mobility and Vehicles Committee has not met since February due to COVID-19, and there is no meeting scheduled for the future.
Okay, on to Security and Community Access Committee, Director Muchnick.
Thank you, President Parsons. Like many of the other committees, the Security and Community Access Committee has not met since February. We are currently scheduled to meet August 24th at 1:30 p.m. With a location to be announced. Thank you.
Okay, Disaster Preparedness Task Force, Director Engdahl.
Nothing since January. Next meeting is scheduled for July 28th at 9:30 in the morning. Probably a virtual meeting.
Okay, and report of Laguna Woods Village traffic hearings, Director Frankel.
We will have our first meeting in a couple of months tomorrow. It'll be a virtual traffic hearing meeting, and Paul Wynn has passed out the agenda, and we have 12 folks who have violations, and I have their information in front of me, and we'll be discussing with them at 9 o'clock in the morning for our first violator.
Okay.
It'll be virtual.
Okay, go easy on them, it sounds like. Okay, thank you very much. Want people to know that we're gradually getting back on track with committees, getting them ginned up again. So stay tuned and we'll let you know when they're going to be handled. On to item 15, future agenda items. Are there any items that we need to put on or take off? The 15A, we will be discussing that more in depth with Ernesto and company, and we'll be looking at it in our policy committee. Okay, hearing no additions or subtractions from item 15, let's start with the director comments. And if I could have the pictures of everybody up, please. But we can start in the meantime with John Pearlstone. You have any comments?
No comment, thank you.
Okay, Kush?
No particular comment, except that I would like to ask all the residents to be careful, stay safe and healthy, and we'd like to meet again when all this is over, hopefully so. Thank you.
Okay, Annie?
My microphone was off, I guess.
Oh. Okay, we'll go on to Annie.
Just for everybody to continue to stay safe. It's really nice to walk around the village and see all of my neighbors and saying hi to everybody and keeping our social distancing and wearing the masks. So it's really, really great to see our community just adjusting to the limitations that we have right now. So thank you, Laguna Woods.
Okay, Lynn?
I'll be happy to see all of the board members back here in the boardroom. It feels good for us officers to be here today, but I'd like to see the whole team in here and some of our members of the community. I miss everybody. It was a good meeting today, and thank you.
Okay, John Frankel, any comments? Okay, John Frankel, do you have any last minute comments?
I'm sorry, I have no comments. Thank you.
Okay, Robert?
I wish everybody to stay healthy and hope to see everybody soon back at all activities. Thank you.
Okay, Craig?
I have no comment.
Okay, Doug?
In that I'm an old resident and a new member of this fine committee and everything else, I'd like to just express to the people that are watching this that you got a lot of good people here coming up with some fantastic figures. I have been watching the budget for both here and the GRF, and it looks like everything is in real good shape the way it's been reporting. I do want to emphasize, though, the people that I'm talking to and everything else, please call in if you see something that you'd one like to have to be done, or that you see it's out of whack, like the water running down the street, or brush that's not supposed to be picked up or hasn't been picked up. But just call in the resident services number, the 597-4600 number, and get a ticket number, because it really is working. It's working very effectively. But I'm really happy to see what's happening in the Third Mutual as well as the whole community. Thank you.
Good comments, thank you. Ralph, any last minute comments?
I too miss the board actually getting together in person, but it's one of the problems. It works pretty well this way. But that's all I have. Thank you.
Okay, Reza? Reza, do you have any last minute comments? Okay, you may have been pulled away. So, well, good meeting, everybody. Last minute comments by Jeff Parker, CEO. Siobhan, any last minute comments? Okay, none. Grant? Okay, Reza, are you back on for last minute comment?
No comment. I'm sorry, the internet is going in and out. I probably missed 1/3 of the meeting. I apologize about that, but I hope we can get over this one and have a face-to-face one soon.
Yes, thank you very much. Okay, I have no last minute comments, so we'll go ahead and recess this meeting and reconvene at 12 o'clock virtually for our closed session.